We are here to talk about how to onboard the next billion people to crypto, to refi, and what are the public goods that can help us do that. Let's see if this clicker works. Fantastic. I pulled this up because, well, first off, we're really happy to be contributing to funding the Commons as sponsors, and I just think this whole event and the people coming together has been phenomenal. So huge shout out to David and the team and everyone who's attending and putting stuff forward. It's really interesting because when I read it, it really reminds me of whenever people outside of crypto ask me on what Web3 is, how I define it, and I define it as a mass coordination tool to solve some of our most challenging, pressing problems. And that's really what got us, Marek and me, into the space. It's actually cool to be on stage with you. You know, I feel like we spend so little time lately. We don't have that privilege often. But also in the context of what we want to talk about, it's super exciting because Marek is involved with two projects. Well, he's involved with Valora, a wallet that you guys may know and use, and then the public goods company C Labs that's doing a lot of the public goods work for the Celo ecosystem. So super relevant in terms of what we're talking about here. But first, and I know most of you here know this, but you know, do you see someone, you know, kind of who doesn't maybe, well, I don't know, but we have a fun way of explaining it. So Marek, why don't you do us the honors and run us through this?
Yeah, for sure. And maybe I'll take the clicker. And the feeling is mutual. It's great to be here with you, René. Yeah, so for those who don't know Celo, you know, just 3 slides, emoji style. I like to explain things with emojis as to what Celo is. I mean, first and foremost, Celo is an EVM-compatible layer 1. We actually just today announced a proposal to potentially turn Celo into an L2 on the Celo forum. Woo. Yeah. So we'll talk about it a little bit at the end. But for now, it's an L1. And it is the first carbon negative chain out there. So 3 years ago, through a on-chain governance vote, the community decided to make Celo use block rewards to programmatically buy carbon offset credits. So that's really exciting. This was a time before, you know, Ethereum was transitioned to proof of stake, and really was a time when everyone still really thought of crypto as being bad for the environment. So we're really stoked that this, you know, attracted a lot of refi projects to Celo, but also made other layer 1s follow. Celo, of course, is also a mobile-first chain. A lot of the consensus protocol, a lot of features, some of which we'll talk about today, are designed with mobile in mind. There's a ZK Snark-based like client that turns out will be also quite useful for the layer 2. And then it's really built for ease of use. So a lot of use cases on Celo are real-world use cases that are made possible because Celo has put so much focus on making it really easy to build applications that enable a really nice experience for regular end users. And I think it's that focus on real-world use cases that, you know, despite the fact that we're in a bear market, has meant that Celo usage has actually been growing. So there's a nice table from Nansen that you can pull up. This is on their, I think, Chain Paradise page, which is a fun name for kind of a data page, just showing how different chains that they're tracking are doing. And if you sort by active addresses or by retention, we currently rank #1 over the last month, but even over longer time periods, you know, like 6 months as well. And I think that's really, you know, a testament to the fact that, you know, users who need crypto for real-world use cases, they don't care if it's a bull market or a bear market. You know, they're using crypto because they need it, and you know, we're seeing that in the adoption right now.
Yeah, and I think What's this actually?
Oh, I think all of our hidden slides appeared when they
That's good.
exported it to PDF, so bear with us.
So let's get into it. What is the infrastructure that's needed to onboard the next billion? And it's interesting because when we first started working on Cello, we didn't start and said, hey, let's start a blockchain, right? But we were driven by a bunch of use cases, applications, things that we wanted to see in the world that we were excited to build, that ultimately we didn't have to get to, or we didn't get to because they're now being built in the ecosystem. I see Anna here from Good Dollar. I see Mark from Impact Market. UBI was one of the things that first drew us to starting to work on Cello because we felt such a beautiful concept to gift money in a way into existence and empower communities. But the infrastructure, the traditional financial infrastructure to do that just is non-existent, right? Especially if you're thinking about micropayments, you're thinking about, this not just from a small community perspective, but trying to roll it out in an entire country or even an entire continent. And so many of, the use cases we were most excited about, we wanted to see in the world, ended up pointing to a set of public good sort of infrastructure, and many of those have become features of Cello. Now, when we talk about onboarding the next billion, something like that looks like this, the future we want, then unfortunately, Web3...
Unfortunately, the gift broke when they exported.
Broke, yeah.
So you have to imagine hordes of people rushing into a Black Friday store that's just opening.
This could also look like when the Berlin Wall came down, it's like without the animation. And this is also, unfortunately, not animated, but you get the idea, right? This is kind of us, people in this room, using some of the early products out there, but far from the masses that we really want to see use the products we're building. And so I won't bore you with all the details here. Definitely check out the docs for details on all the features that we think are valuable to actually have these real-world use cases come to life and reach a big audience. But two in particular that we want to zoom in on in this talk. And again, I'm super happy to have Marek here with me because Fiat Connect is a public good that's driven out of Valora, and then Social Connect out of C Labs. And so with that, let's hear more about it.
Sure. And so Social Connect really is kind of the evolution of something that we started early on in the Cello journey, which is to make it easier for people to send payments to phone numbers. And so you can think of Social Connect as a public good now that's kind of a standalone protocol teased out of the Cello protocol that is also much easier to use than the original version of this. Really it allows any Web3 application, any wallet to change the identifier that it's presenting to its users from public key derived addresses to phone numbers, right? Because if you think about it, phone numbers are the most ubiquitous identifiers out there. More people have phone numbers than email addresses, and they've been used successfully as identifiers in a whole manner of different verticals and types of applications. And so they're really quite a wonderful identifier to use. And if we think about onboarding billions of people, we need something that's a lot less intimidating and a lot more familiar than public key derived addresses, which frankly for us they're fine. We're having fun in that Bed Bath and Beyond, I guess, was the graphic before. But the hordes of people stuck in that frozen animation, that they can't. It's just too complicated for them. And so Fiat Connect is a really nice protocol that allows you to map your wallet address to your phone number in a privacy-preserving way. There's a really cool decentralized system for that mapping it's called Otis, that works really quite nicely. And it enables experiences like the following, where instead of searching for someone by their public key-derived address or copy-pasting it, you can piggyback on what I like to call is the biggest social network in the world, which is the amalgamation of everyone's contact lists in everyone's phone book.
Even bigger than Threads?
Well, Threads, up until last week, it was the biggest. But seriously, it's bigger than Facebook, right? Like, not everyone has a Facebook account, even though, they clearly there's, many billions and billions of people who do. But everyone who has a mobile phone has a phone number and likely has a few entries in their contact list. And so it's an absolutely massive social network. It's a decentralized social network because it lives across all these different devices. And it's one that's available for us, in Web3 to tap into, just like WhatsApp tapped into it early on when they used it to bootstrap, their application. But, because it's Web3, we can't do it in just one application. It has to be interoperable. It has to work across different wallets, across different dApps. And so that's what Social Connect is. It's the interoperable way of doing this across dApps. So it's pretty exciting. But alas, we have another public good to get to. So we're going to have to end here. If you have any questions about inner workings, go to socialconnect.dev and definitely check out the docs and the GitHub or come talk to us afterwards. The other public good that I'm really, really excited about, and I tend to speak about it a little bit like a broken record, so if you've heard this before, forgive me, but if you haven't, hopefully you'll be as excited as me, and that's Fiat Connect. Because when you combine things like Social Connect, when you combine the fact that you can send stable value now to anyone in the world, to any phone number in the world, we've effectively solved peer-to-peer payments using crypto, except for this one little small detail, which is that people need to on and off ramp in every country in the world for this to be actually useful for everyone. And so we want a world where the map of all countries supported by easy on and off ramps that integrate nicely into dApps and wallets looks like this, right? Every country is supported. But to get there, because on and off ramping is highly regulated, for good reason, you're likely going to need to integrate with hundreds of different on and off ramps that all have their local licenses and the local banking relationships in each of these countries. It's going to be a lot of on and off ramps. And I don't know about you, but when you talk to engineers about maintaining hundreds of integrations, bespoke integrations, usually they get a little grumpy. And that's at one wallet, right? Now imagine if every wallet, every dApp has to do this, then suddenly the picture looks like this. You have everyone integrating with everyone. It starts to look like a bit of a spaghetti mess. You've got this kind of many-to-many integration nightmare that's just not very efficient. What's way more efficient is to put something in the middle, create a hub and spoke model. And that thing in the middle is Fiat Connect. And so you can think of Fiat Connect as kind of an open API standard. It's fully open source that acts like the hub in this hub and spoke model. And it's a API, based public good that doesn't have a single server kind of running it. It's just just an open source specification with a whole bunch of library implementations that make it easy to integrate. And when you choose to use this as, say, a wallet or a dApp, and you want to add new on and off ramps, then it becomes as easy as just a configuration change. When a new on and off ramp pops up in a new market, you can just simply use a configuration file change to kind of enable the on and off ramp, because that new on and off ramp would be speaking the same language that you're already used to. And that's really nice. The other thing that's really nice is that it's a back-end API spec. So the wallets and dApps, they control the UX, so you can create experiences that look native, right? That look like on and off ramping in a centralized exchange. But you can do that for self-custodial wallets, for self-custodial dApps. which is really quite elegant. And because, again, on and off ramping is very regulated, Fiat Connect, has full compliance support, has ways to collect KYC, and even ways to potentially reuse that liveness check, the annoying scanning of your ID card and the annoying like look left, look right, scan your face thing. We could actually reuse that across different on and off ramps, which is really quite nice. And so that's Fiat Connect. It's now available to close to 2 billion people. It's live in 12 markets, 10 in Africa, and then India and the Philippines. And so we're really, really excited about this. A whole bunch of different on and off ramps have now implemented it and have made it available in these markets. Just yesterday at a Funding the Commons dinner, someone said, hey, I'm looking for an off ramp in Togo. And I think Marco pointed them my way, and I was like, oh my God, we have an off-ramp solution for you in Togo using Fiat Connect. It's supported, it's live, and they were just really blown away and pretty happy. And so that was a really delightful moment yesterday. Again, if you're interested in hearing more, learning more, check out fiatconnect.org. Let's make this the standard. There is no other standard right now, so it should be easy to make this the main one that everyone rallies around. But to get there, we're going to need all of you to really drum the beat and help let this be kind of known to everyone. So, yeah, let's make some noise.
So yeah, that was a quick overview, and of course you may say, well, this is awesome, but I'm currently on Ethereum mainnet. This is on Celo, and like, yeah, how does it affect me? And so yeah, quick call out to a proposal that went up earlier this weekend. It's pretty exciting for us. I mean, I mentioned some of those early ideas and prototypes that got us into starting Celo, and those we build on Ethereum. And if I think Ethereum had been back then what it is today, I don't know if we would have gone down the path of building what we've built. But yeah, with this, a lot of these innovations can actually come to the broader Ethereum community a lot faster, which is something that we're really excited about. So yeah, thanks everyone for being here. If you're interested to learn more about Social Connect or Fiat Connect or how to get involved to move these public goods further, please come up to us after. We're here to chat and excited to partner. Thanks, everyone.
Is it worth just sharing a few lines about the actual proposal? Is anybody interested? Yes, perfect. So I'm really excited about this. I think as René mentioned, Celo's origin is one that's been very, very close to Ethereum, and a lot of the community is very much in both the Ethereum and the Celo world. But really until now, there wasn't really a way for Celo and the use cases that are on it, that require really low gas fees, to integrate and to plug into the broader Ethereum ecosystem beyond just being fully EVM compatible and supporting all of the same tooling. And this changed recently with the launch of EigenLayer, because now with EigenLayer, they're launching something called EigenDA, which is effectively dank sharding delivered kind of years before dank sharding will come to Ethereum. And so that's a data availability protocol that is actually going to be run by Ethereum validators that opt into it through restaking, that can do data availability at a much lower cost than just using the Ethereum chain. And so the plan is to make, or the proposal I should say, is to make Celo an L2 that uses EigenDA for data availability, and that turns the current validator set that is validating Celo blocks into a decentralized sequencer. And so we'll have both significantly cheaper transactions than a lot of the other our existing L2s today, and we'd do it with a very decentralized sequencer, which I think would be pretty exciting as well. So that's the proposal. Check it out, forum.celo.org. Would love to get your feedback. And this just came out, so definitely feel free to help amplify it as well.